Hello, everyone. In the previous episode, we talked about the events at Mount Sinai, the 10 Commandments, and the emotional moment when the Jewish people received the Torah. Today, we will talk about the continuation of the Torah, the mitzvot, and special laws that Hashem gave us. Right after the events at Mount Sinai, Hashem commanded the Jews to establish a court that would judge the people according to the laws of the Torah, and God forbid, not according to the laws of the nations. Moshe ascended Mount Sinai again to receive all the laws from God. God taught Moshe all the most important laws. The laws of the Hebrew servant. What's a Hebrew servant? A person who stole and has no way to repay must sell himself as a servant. He cleans, cooks, polishes his master's shoes, does his shopping, and fulfills any other needs his master has. At the same time, the Torah teaches us that the master must treat the servant in a kind and respectful manner, to the extent that the Torah commands that if the master has a special pillow, he must give it to the servant and take the simple one for himself. If he has only one bed, the servant sleeps on it and the master sleeps on the floor. Why? Because Hashem wants to remind the Jewish people that they were slaves in Egypt and that everyone should be treated with respect and compassion. The servant will work for 6 years, and in the 7th year, he will be set free without having to pay anything. And if the servant entered servitude with his wife, she will be freed along with him. If the servant loves his master and says, "I love my master, my wife, and my children, I do not want to go free," they take him to the court, bring his ear close to the door, and pierce it with an awl. Why specifically the ear? Because this ear heard at Mount Sinai when Hashem said, "The children of Israel are my servants, for the children of Israel are servants to me and not servants to other people." After that, Moshe tells the Jewish people, "It's true that you have the commandment to honor your father and mother, but it's important for you to know that it is forbidden to hit one's parents even gently." And from parents, Moshe moved on to teaching about people fighting. Moshe explained that whoever engages in a fight is called wicked. The Torah continues and teaches us about the Hebrew maidservant, a Jewish girl whose father sold her into servitude. The Torah takes special care of her. The master is required to take care of her, providing her with good food and nice clothing, and if he or his son wishes to marry her, they may do so. If not, she is freed at the age of 12 without paying anything. Moshe stood and taught all of this to the Jewish people from morning until night. Then Moshe moves on to teaching about the laws of damages. For example, if someone digs a pit in a public area and forgets to cover it and the neighbor's ox falls into it, what's the law? And when is the one who dug the pit obligated to pay? How much? And what's the law for a person who is guarding someone else's property? An unpaid guardian, a paid guardian, a renter, or a borrower. Each one has specific laws. When must he pay if something happens to the item, and when is he exempt? Wow. Does Moshe teach all of this to the Jewish people? Does the Torah address these matters as well? Of course, the Torah places great emphasis on mitzvot between one person and another. There are also specific laws regarding a thief who is caught, what's done with him, and the amount of compensation he must pay. But if he returns the stolen item before being caught and repents, he pays less. The Torah specifically warns us about lending with interest. It is forbidden to lend to a Jew with interest, and even when lending without interest, one must be careful not to pressure a poor person if they can't repay. And then some truly unique laws. You shall not mistreat any widow or orphan. It is forbidden to cause distress to a widow or an orphan. How serious this is and how careful one must be. Hashem warns that if someone causes them distress, he himself will hear their cry. Therefore, when there is an orphan child, one must make an extra effort to help them more than anyone else. Listen to them, compliment them, and encourage them. The Torah also commands us to lend to the poor and assist them, and not to take collateral from them if it's something they need. There are also special commandments regarding respect. It's forbidden to curse a judge and a leader, and the tithes and first fruits must be brought on time. Moshe then teaches us how to conduct ourselves in a court of law. It is forbidden to listen to one side without the other. It's forbidden to accept a bribe. And if one sees the donkey of an enemy about to collapse, they are obligated to help. Why? Because one must overcome hatred and help even those they don't like. At the end of the Parsha, Hashem promises the Jewish people that if they keep the commandments, he will send an angel to lead them to the land of Israel. He will bless their bread and water and drive out their enemies before them, gradually, so that the land does not become desolate. Moshe comes down from Mount Sinai and tells them all the laws. The nation answers in unison. All the words that Hashem has spoken, we will do. Moshe writes down all the words he receives from Hashem. He builds an altar and 12 pillars corresponding to the 12 tribes. He offers sacrifices. He takes the blood of the sacrifices. He sprinkles half on the altar and half on the people and says, "Behold the blood of the covenant that Hashem has made with you." And then something amazing happens. Moshe, Aaron, Nadav, and Avihu and 70 elders ascend the mountain and are granted a wondrous vision of God. At the end of the Parsha, Hashem calls Moshe to ascend the mountain to receive the tablets of stone. Moshe ascends the mountain, and the cloud covers the mountain for 6 days. On the 7th day, Hashem calls to Moshe from within the cloud, and Moshe enters the cloud. There he will remain for 40 days and 40 nights. What happens while Moshe is on the mountain? How does the nation react? We will tell you about that in the next episode.